Delighted to be joined here by Trevor McLaughlin from Coill Dubh FC. How are you getting on, Trevor?
Not so bad, John.
You look
How are
fierce
things with
nervous.
you?
You look grand now. You look nervous. It's nothing here. We're just really here today just to talk about your new fundraiser for the club. You are, of course, part of the organising committee, and as I joked earlier on, I think you do everything bar clean the toilets. I wouldn't be surprised if you do that as well at your football club here as well. So you're a busy man.
Yeah, we're busy. Yeah, it's a nice small little club in Coill Dubh in County Kildare, but yeah, we're only a small rural village, 500 people or so. But it's hard to get things going, and it's nice to have some sort of fundraiser to push on the funds and help people get involved with the club and put a bit more of notice of where the club is and how you can get involved in the club and just things like that.
Yeah, because like no more than I suppose every aspect of society really in the last couple of months, just been pretty much walloped left, right, and centre. I believe what your chief fundraiser was kind of going around involved, knocking on people's doors, going into the local pub or whatever. And of course, I suppose the nicest way to describe it is there was a chronic lack of social distancing with every part of that. That was the old school. It seems like a different way.
Yeah, so because of obviously COVID, you have to change your angle that you go with selling tickets, be it the lotto tickets or spot the ball or whatever it is. We need to change the way we do things. So we've noticed that you can't go into a pub anymore and sell a ticket or that, and whereas you would make the best part of your money would be in the pubs at the weekends, selling your few tickets, and that has fallen away. The footfall is not there. You can't go in and sell a ticket to somebody, and like that, going to doorsteps and calling into each house in the village there and trying to sell a ticket, it's no longer a viable source of income.
Yeah,
So
it's
taking it online is the way forward.
absolutely, and it's kind of catch-22 as well. If you look at the background, of course, we're not going to get into it, but the FAI has highlighted, chronic financial issues. The last while, we've seen recent books and documentaries and whatnot. So that angle is closed down, and as well, I suppose, so many businesses that you might have relied on previously for sponsorship as well are having rainy days as well. So very much a case of having to almost wipe the canvas clean and look at new solutions, as you said.
Yeah, exactly. Like sponsorship is hard to get from businesses now. Since the first crash in 2008 or so, really sponsorship is hard to come by. We have a few fundraisers that we have with sponsorships with Creeline Credit Union are great aid, not just for our club, but every club in our local area. They cover a vast area and sponsor every sort of club. So they're very good and reliable to that every year that there is a chance of getting a few pound from the credit union, and it's a great source of income. But you also then we have a local recycling plant here close to us who would again, if you have a project ongoing or you're pushing a project, they're great for applying to it. And in the recent past we've got good funding from them, and look, hopefully it'll continue over the next few years, but you never know where you're going with this sort of funding, so you just have to hope to keep doing things on the ground yourself, and hopefully things will keep taking over.
And of course, it's probably the worst possible time in a way as well. You've a busy project ongoing. I know we've seen some of the plans here pop up on screen here as well, but there's a big, large development work ongoing as well at your pitch at the moment.
Yeah, we're into phase 2 of the dressing rooms there at the moment. Phase 1, we got a grant, like I say, we got a grant from Treed recycling facility, which gave us, I think it was 34,500 euro towards it. So it gave us a huge chunk of money, and there's nothing like having a project so you can push the people local to get involved behind you when you have a project like that. And if you can fund it yourself, part fund it, which we have to do ourselves, it is a great way of pushing the club forward into the future and having something there to leave for further generations of my family and others in the local area.
And of course, as well, you say the first phase done. Phase 2 is the dressing rooms. In an ideal world, how many phases? What's your grand plan really? I know we've seen some of the plans here, but what's your vision really for Cusack Park for the next couple of years?
Yeah, well, the vision is just keep kids coming through the gates first of all, because without the future generations of footballers coming through the gates, be it boys or girls. It's great. In the last few months, we're after picking up with a few girls playing football with the lads, which was hard to do in recent past. The FAI didn't really push it as much as they have in recent times. Now we're kind of pushing in, and girls are getting involved, and it's great to see women getting involved in the sport. And even on committees, our committee over the years had been mostly male dominated, and in the last few years now we've Jennifer Burton and that's coming in and doing great work behind the scenes for us, which is great. But
And
I just say phase two. Um, First phase was getting the first part of the dressing rooms done, which was 2 dressing rooms, male and female toilets, and a wheelchair accessible toilets. Phase two now is to push on with showers and another 2 dressing rooms, along with a meeting office area in this phase two.
perfect.
So
So all that's going to need a few bob to take it over. So one of the ways you've kind of had to, I suppose, by the health reasons and kind of for health reasons in the last while, you've had to reinvent yourself. So you've come on board with donateIpredict.com, and you've I think it's been tested now a little while and it's ongoing. How you finding the benefits of not having to knock on people's doors, and I suppose the scalability that you have then as a result?
well, the scale of it will be that you can push out to new clients as well as everything else, and you can be seen online. Whereas lads everyone likes to have a prediction on football. So it's one of those things where you just go in online, you pay €3 and you get to predict soccer results. And we're not hitting our normal local lads all the time who you've hitting for, every week for the same money. You're hitting new clients. People will get involved, and they might even catch up and come into the club because of it. The hardest part is trying to get probably the older generation involved in the internet side of it, and that's just the hardest part. But again, like we say, I've been working behind the scenes there with James, and he's brilliant there with on iPredict. He's given me ways of doing attachments to send in WhatsApps, so I can send on a free. They pay me in person, and then I send them a link, and the link brings them into iPredict. So hopefully that starts to take off with the old generation who don't want to go in and use the PayPals and use the bank card online. So with all the different types of outlets there is there to make payments, with even Revolut, he's bringing on Revolut there with us, and it's brilliant. It's just going to change the way we can sell tickets over the next week to 6 weeks, I suppose. We'll see a huge jump in numbers of playing it online. It's we've tried it, like we say. We're finding new ways of fixing little things behind the scenes, but we've opened it out now in week 5 to the general public in the club, and hopefully it hits off and hits ground running.
Well, I know you pretty well now from going back the years as well. I know you're a highly competitive person. At the best of times, when you add in football, I think it goes up another couple of levels as well. That is the one good thing about it, is you do have the kind of the live updates as it go, and you can see the tables, and you can see. I think everybody. Well, we're very, I suppose, very aligned in the same way that sport and football in particular takes up so much of our conversation, leads to debate. Here's a kind of another platform for, I suppose, put our money where our mouth is.
Yeah, and the best thing about this iPlay predict predictions forecast is that you can change the result or your prediction right up to 5 minutes before the game starts. So unlike our old way when we used to do previously, people would hand in their entries by 12:30 on a Saturday to take in the first game so that they're not delayed. With this way, you can make your predictions and you can change them up to 5 minutes before any given kickoff. So if it's getting later on in the tournament and you see your points are a bit lower or that, and you want to draw to get your 3 points back up, and you want to take a gamble, you can do it. Whereas previous to this, you were left in a position that once you handed over your match coupon to me, you had no chance of changing it. Whereas everybody gets to see a chance to change, and also straight after kickoff, I can check my mate's results that he has input, or my competitor who might be on the same amount of points as me. I can watch who he has predicted on that given match once that kickoff is taking place. So there is really good outlets in it, and it really will make it a bit more of a talking point as well. Like, because you can ring up your mate and you say, oh, I can see what fixture you went for there, or WhatsApp them and all that. So like, it is great for that kind of stuff. Whereas before, you nearly had to take a screenshot of your one, and you didn't want to let them see all your results at the
Crop
time.
out the
And
bottom.
you want to, you want to hide some of the stuff. So, but with this, everything is online. It's very quick and easy to make changes. And James was telling me as well that they're going to be starting pushing an app first. So once the app comes live in the next few months or so, by next season, hopefully we'll have pushed it on again, and everyone will have it just at the click of a finger. That they just have to win and just change everything and work away with it.
One of the things that strikes me there is straight away, you mentioned like probably the old way of having the coupons and you having to collect them from a admin point of view. That must have been an utter nightmare then, trying to, the logistics wise. Here now everything is just
Yeah,
bang, 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 bang. That must be so time or reduce some of the amount of time not wasted, but so
yeah,
many efficiencies from not just like your football club, but everybody around that wants to do a fundraiser. Here's a big time saver.
yeah. Yeah, it's huge. Like Jack McDonald for years ran it, and if anyone could tell you, Jack would be he's with the club and the club committee for years, and he would have always done the corrections to the scores, and he would traipse through every one of them painstakingly, checking each result on each card, going down through each fixture. Then once he'd finished with it, it would be either his wife Christine would probably do a second check on each one that he do, especially ones that be around up high in the who would be nearly winning. So you'd have them to make sure that they were second and third checked and making sure everything is correct. So you have all that time consumption of 2 or 3 people putting in hours on a Saturday, and then lads asking later on Saturday evening, oh, have you got the winner yet? And you're trying to go back, oh, well, we're still counting them at home. And you're talking 4 to 5 hours probably. And it's a thing that also getting around to houses and going into people and then making sure you got all the cards back that were registered so that they were all back in time. And you know yourself, with every club, there's always some slow coach that's last minute in the door with the tickets, and you might not be home. You're hoping to put them through the letterbox. Did he get to you? Did he not get to you? It's all done in a time-consuming way. And the way it is with James here now at the moment is when you do submit your entry, some people have been messaging me back in the first week or two with the trial stages of it. They were putting their entries in, but they weren't coming into our own Coill one, but they were going into ABPOT, which was the I Donate Predict, their own league that they have. But James can transfer your fixtures in. So once person, even if they make a small error that they feel like they haven't got themselves done correctly, once they've made the predictions and they've saved that prediction, James will be able to put you through to it. So all these things are there in the background. There is a ledger that allows you to be able to see the timestamp of when everything was done. So we do have conversations back and forth. I don't see such a lad in here, and he would be a weekly player, and James can send it on to me to say, yeah, they have entered, or this guy has stopped at checkout. So sometimes you might buy a ticket or go to buy the ticket and stop at the checkout phase. We can see that you went as far as checkout and haven't bought that. So if you are a local person to me, that I can go in and I can give you a buzz and say to you, look, you haven't finished out that. You might have thought that you made the entry, but you haven't made the final payment. So that's why you haven't gone in. And it's very easy, and it makes it easy in the background that we have James to follow up like that. The admin of it is very good.
Yeah, there's a huge back paying operation there that does take a lot of the. You described the drop. Did that guy drop it into the letterbox or whatnot? It's a hell of a lot more
Yeah.
efficient when you do have that management of it, and then the scalability really is the one that strikes to me. The fact that you can expand it, because obviously the more people that you have donating to game, the more the phases that you'll be able to go on and the easier to go. And the good thing is as well, people will be able to see the improvements. Like already we see some of the shots here that there's some great work going around the facility. That's going to get even better and better with the more people that come on board ultimately and get on and play the game and end up, keeping a bit of blood flow going into the local football club.
Yeah, yeah, and like at the moment, the way we have it at the moment is the weekly winner is €100. But once we upscale and get more people playing online, the minimum will be €100. Once we get it up and going, it will be the jackpot will be up towards the 40% of our total income that we take will go out on. As a winner, so every week you'll be able to see. We hope to put it onto the system where we can see when somebody has bought in, that we can see the kind of increase in the jackpot as people buy into it, you'll see an increase in the jackpot, so they can see live how much is actually in the jackpot as they buy into their ticket. So it'll be 100 minimum, and then it'll go up once we go over the €100. So yeah, it's a work in progress, but like everything, we're willing to take it online, and it's the way forward. Like, and James and the team are excellent. Their advice is excellent as well.
Yeah, so that really is the key for the future is really is getting as many people in on board as possible, because that will ultimately grow this like a snowball down the mountain, really. Get people on board, because then you have the facility. If you do want to get sponsorship on board, they can sponsor some of the prizes, weekly prizes or monthly prizes, or whatever format you discuss, and then it all goes back to
Yeah,
getting the facilities for everybody better and better, because sport now more than ever is so important, to particularly in rural environments as well, that have got so many lack of social issues or whatever, to have a place like that where you can run around and kick a ball for a few hours in the evening or whatever, and have these amazing facilities here as well, and the ones that you've planned. It's going to make a
yeah.
huge difference to people in the area.
Yeah, and like we have there at the moment is we've 8 acres there, and there's 3 adult pitches on it. We have 9 aside pitches, 5 aside, 7 aside. So the teams are there. We've got a first team competing and doing very well at the moment in the Kildare Premier League. Then we have a second team in Division One in Kildare, and then in the over 35s we're in Division One there as well as that, and we're pushing for trophies on all fronts with all those senior teams. And then the underage, over the last 3 years, we have had an under 18 team for each of the last 3 years, and all those players have come forward to be a part of this year's and last year's first team and the second team. So we've been able to push on to a second team, and the average age of the first team in the club is only like 22, 23. All the rest are under 21, with maybe an odd 27-year-old, which brings the average age up. But um, the youth is there. We have the youth coming through. The club is growing. If we just can push forward and get people to get behind the club, and even to just come on the committee is only a small committee. We've only got maybe 8 people who put their life into the club. It's the life breed of the club. Like Paddy Sullivan is there since 1978 when we started. He's actually still the manager of the first team now, and he's been manager in and out of the manager role over the last 40 years. Like, so then we have my father, who over the finances of the club, where we've got then, as like I say, Jennifer and Noel Burton come in over the last few years. Apart from that, you had Jack McDonald and a few others along the time. We've Mick Ennis, who's club chairman. There is only the small committee, and we push ourselves forward with them small committee meetings once. It used to be once every 2 weeks. We haven't had one in 6 weeks now because of COVID. You're trying to get ways around how you can meet up, and with the bad weather, there was a time when we could stand outside the dressing rooms up there and have a meeting. But now with the bad weather coming in, it's kind of hoping we can do a Zoom call to each other and chat over Zoom, and bring all the issues that are within the club, or anybody who we need to get involved in the club and stuff like that, is done over Zoom at the moment. So you're trying to push yourself forward as a club,
It's
and like
definitely.
the underage.
Yeah,
Sorry.
no, go on. I just want to say this is definitely going to make a huge benefit to the team as well. And I know
Yeah,
that your other football and allegiance is the Man Cities of the world as well. Maybe if this donation game kicks off and the facilities, and you can go all the way through the phases, you'll be the Man City in terms of facilities on and off the pitch in Irish football.
yeah. In Kildare here at the moment, we're probably up there now already at the moment. Even though we are only a small club, we're up there with brilliant facilities, and it's detriment to the people within the club that they're pushing themselves forward, like the management and the small committee we have. We push players every week to try get involved. It's harder nowadays to push people to get involved. Everyone likes to have stuff ready and done for them when they get there, but not too many people are willing to put themselves forward. And when you have somebody who comes forward, it breathes new life into the club. Everybody gets a lift. Even if you just get one new committee member who has a new idea, it pushes you forward, and it gives you more to push forward for the future. And every few years, if you can get 1 or 2 people in the committee, and it gives real new exuberance and new life to everyone within the committee, who will start getting this thing of how far can we do, where we feel like we're pushing the same old thing. But when someone new comes in there and gets involved, it is brilliant for us, because it breathes new life into us who are passionate about the club, who are there for years, but we kind of get a little bit stale, as we all do. But then when they come in, they just change it all up for you, and then you go again, and it hopefully breathes new life. So hopefully, if anything can happen from it, as well as the financial side of it, of what this improves, it might be that someone will see this and come, geez, I'd like to get involved. I live in the local area. I might not have a child or have a thing of a skill of football to give, but I have some sort of knowledge that you might bring to the club that might help us keep going for the future.
Absolutely. Well, we encourage everybody to get involved in the local area, because now more than ever, with people working from home and not being as, I suppose, as attached as they needed to be initially, even go back a couple of months where it felt like everybody needed to be in the city. Now there's the option to work remotely and whatnot, and hopefully it'll breathe new life into the club. And if we will put up the donation link here as well to your weekly game as well, and encourage people to get on board, because there is tangible benefits straight away. We can see the improvements are already made here with some of these wonderful drone footage here, and there's the plans along. You have a lot more. If you can get more people involved, it's going to make that facility better for everyone as well.
Yeah, and like we have floodlight facilities there. We've some of the best floodlights in the country, like we have there. So all it pushes the first team play there on a Friday night, and before COVID, there we would have probably 200 to 300 people from the local area going down to watch your games. So that has probably come back a little bit now with the COVID. It's stopped people from coming to the ground, but when we had the floodlights there on a Friday night, there was nothing like being out in the football field watching a game on a Friday night rather than getting up on a cold Sunday morning and having to drag yourself out to watch a game. Whereas when you have an evening there, you have time on your hands. You know, it's 7 o'clock, 7:30. There's very little on television at home, and you might want to drag yourself down to a local game. The game is on there under floodlights, and it's another huge investment. It was close to 100,000 investment at the time. We put them in about 5 or 6 years ago, and you can see that's what's brought on the youth in the club as well. We've been able to push that through to the 16s, 17s and 18s are reaping the rewards of that, where they're out now playing on the first and second name under the floodlights there. And you know yourself, nothing's nicer than playing under floodlights in a game. Everything changes. It makes you feel that bit more important, I suppose, even. And then if you see 300 or 400 people at an amateur football match, it's nice on a weekly basis.
Absolutely. Well, as I said, there's huge benefits to getting on board here. And if I to summarize and wrap this up, if I could give people just one good reason to get on board, it's just so you can make sure you can beat Trevor in the game, because he's a bit of a ninja when it comes to this. You'd almost think it's jinxed or a fix or whatever, but your footballing knowledge is like an encyclopedia doubled up. So if you please just join on board so you can beat Trevor, that's the ultimate. You never mind your dressing rooms and all the benefits that you'll get with that. If you can just beat Trevor, it'll be well worth your time. And you get a nice prize for it as well. I've stumped him there. He's gone for words. Trevor, we'll let you go. No, I know you're a busy man, but thanks so much. As I said, we'll keep on continuing sharing out the links and encourage people to get on board, because there is huge. We keep repeating back huge benefits to the local football club for getting on board. It's not a lot of hassle. It's a small couple of minutes. You'll have a good bit of fun with it, and there's huge benefits, as we will see, to the local club. So thanks, Trevor, for getting on board, and thank you for your time.
Thank you very much, John.
Raise money for your sports team with a prediction game from donate.playipredict.com. You must be an appointed officer or person of your club to start a donate.playipredict fundraiser. Step 1. Contact us at donate.playipredict.com. Step 2. You choose what sport you want to play your Play I Predict fundraiser to involve, and what time frame you want the competition to run for. We currently have Gaelic football, hurling, Premier League and electricity League of Ireland on Play I Predict. You also choose how much the entry fee is. Step 3. You will get a sign up link that you can share with your members, and your members can share out for anybody to join and support your club financially. When people sign up this way, they will automatically be sent an entry link to their email address. Or, we can also supply you with entry links for your club members to sell in person, and they can pay in cash or over Revolut. Then message the link to the people who have paid. We strongly advise you to have a top 3 or top 5 finisher seller's price. Step 4. People predict the outcome of the games in your competition, and the person who is on top of the table wins, and the club gives them the prize to them, or have top 3 prizes, or for whatever works best. Prices are organised by the clubs exclusively. Step 5. Start another competition and make your fundraiser regular. We advise that you get your local Garda clearance as it is your club's fundraiser. iPredict is the host of your game. You can organise your own sponsors or co-sponsors for your competition to raise further funding, as many clubs have businesses that are eager to help them.